Hello, out there in Facebook land, YouTube land, wherever land you're in, Instagram land. Welcome to Live with Ms. KIR. MZ, capital K, capital I, capital R, which stands for Keeping It Real, the Poetic Lyricist. And this is episode 318 of the SBN Small Business Network. Shout out to my Small Business Network folks, Dr. Commissioner James McConnell, Sean A. White, Indigo Divine Brown, Latanya Davis, Trinity Davis Floyd, Shannon Hudson, Cassandra Pickett, Roosevelt Russell, and Gladys Bryce. And there's some more people, but I can't think of their names right now. Sorry about all of that. Anyway, again, welcome. I have two special guests tonight on Live with Ms. KIR. Two special guests. The first guest I have is Maurice Huff, and the second guest I have is Scott Jacob. So everybody out there, show your love for my guests, Scott Jacob and Maurice Huff. Snap it up out there. Snap it up, snap it up. Okay, in the comments already, we have North Philly's finest. He's in the house. I interviewed North Philly finest last week and then again back in the end of August. So he's coming through, showing some love for Live with Ms. KIR. So we're going to get into it. Thank you all again for taking the time out on this Friday night to tune in, because you could be doing other things, but you came to show love. And so I'm thankful. Everybody snap it up again for my guests, Maurice Huff and Scott Jacob. Woo! Come on, folks out there. Snap it up, snap it up, snap it up. Okay. Scott, tell the viewers and the listeners who you are in my Mufasa voice. Remember who you are.
Wow.
I'm your first cousin.
That's right, folks. That's my first cousin out there in the building. Plainfield, stand up. Plainfield, stand
Yeah,
up. Okay, tell us
yeah, yeah.
about yourself, cuz.
Um, grew up in Plainfield, lived in Plainfield, did a little stint behind Plainfield. Now I'm out of Plainfield.
All right.
I'm out here in the South.
Yeah, he said he had to get away in the Mob Deep voice.
All the way. All
Okay,
the way.
I know that's right, cuz I hear you. Yes, Scott Jacob and I are first cousins. So snap it up. My second guest is Maurice Huff. Maurice, tell the viewers and the listeners about you, who you are.
I'm from Plainfield also.
Plainfield in the building. Me and Maurice went to school together.
Yeah.
PHS Cardinals.
I'm a product from South 2nd Street all the way up to 950 Park Avenue.
Okay.
Right. I've been through the whole gamut. And a 17-year community activist in Plainfield from 2001 to 2018.
All right. All right, Maurice. Okay, back to you, Scott Jacob, aka Cuz. Okay, Cuz, can you tell us well, you told us where you grew up and where you're from. How many siblings do you have?
Well, it's four of us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Aisha, Pookie, Courtney.
Right, right. So, Scott, tell the viewers and the listeners out there And all the P folk people. Plainfield stand up tonight. Plainfield stand up tonight. God, what do you like to do for fun?
Live.
I hear that. Living is
Yeah,
good.
live. Live. You gotta live every day like it should last.
Absolutely. Absolutely right. Never lied about that. Maurice,
Take every-
tell the folks out there what you like to do for fun.
Oh, I'm a diehard fisherman. I
Okay.
love to fish. Um, been fishing since I was a kid. That's one of the things my father taught me was how to fish and how to grow a garden. So
Um,
I'm Mr. Outdoors. We can go fishing or we can go in the backyard and play in the dirt.
all right.
No, that's right.
Right. Right. So back to you, Scott. What was it like growing up in Plainfield, the Queen City? Because Nanny used to always say, you live in suburbia. You remember
Yeah,
that? She used to say we lived in
yeah.
suburbia, when nothing suburban about where we live. But yeah, tell
No,
the folks.
absolutely not.
Yeah,
Now,
tell the
see,
folks.
looking back now,
Uh huh.
looking back on time now, I kind of miss. I missed back in the day. I missed them '80s, the early '90s. It was actually fun growing up and fun experience as life was going on.
Yeah,
I miss those days. Miss it. I miss it. I swear. I wish we can go back
yeah, me too. Those were good
because
times.
some of the bad shit that I excuse my language. Some of the bad stuff that I done did back then. And I'm
Yeah.
looking at it now, like, boy, cuz you already know how I used to be.
Yes.
Oh man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very rebellious.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's
Very.
not see, all it is life coming like full 360 coming back. That's all it is. And nobody trying to teach these young guys, young kids about what it was like growing up. So they can stop wilding the way they because they taking a little wilding to a whole nother level
Mm-hmm.
from when we did it.
You got that right. So in the comments, we have Commissioner Dr. James McConnell of the Small Business Network. He said, hello, Mr. Scott, and hello, Mr. Maurice. And my mom, Aunt Bobby said, hey, Scott. All right, Maurice, tell us what it was like for you growing up in Plainfield.
Ah, um, I grew up on Fourth and Liberty.
Mm,
Everybody know, but in Liberty Village between the projects, bricks, and Whitney Young.
yep.
I lived in Liberty Village, um, but I knew people from Rushmore all the way up to Terra Road.
Uh-huh.
Um, it's a lot of things that I was the what's the best way to put it? I was the good bad kid. I did just enough silly enough in school. I did just enough silly stuff in school not to get suspended.
Okay.
Right?
Uh-huh.
I stayed in AM detention. I wasn't no angel. Me and the principal, 7 o'clock in the morning. Right? But
Uh,
I never got suspended. I did just enough not to get suspended. But I grew up on Fourth and Liberty. So if anybody knew anything about Fourth and Liberty in the 80s and 90s, yo, woo, when
yeah.
the bricks was the bricks. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying?
Yep.
And so I was exposed to a little bit of everything, but me and my friends, we stayed in our apartment complex in the parking lot. I
Okay.
just say, when people say if you did your dirt, you can't do it in front of your doorstep, don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I mean, I Plainfield as a kid it was a now that I'm older, the design of the city and how small it is and close everything is, it's a beautiful town, yo. Because it's only from Rock Avenue to Terra Road.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So if you know somebody from Rushmore all the way down to East Front, you know what I'm saying? And you're stuck in the middle. But as a kid, we don't understand everything that we have to our access. And that's why everybody says when they get older, they wish they could do certain things different. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, we looked at Plainfield High School as a prison.
Yes.
But now that we're older, we like all of that stuff that they was trying to get us to understand, all of those activities, all of those opportunities, all of, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But we were young. So that's why I say I don't knock these young people because of the key word young. We've all been here. We know about stubborn and hard-headed and you know what I mean? So city of Plainfield is a beautiful city. It's becoming expensive, very expensive. If you look at them apartments on South Avenue, 1 bedroom, 19 to 2,300.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's something like that out here.
Wow.
In West Virginia, prices is going up.
Oh yeah, I heard the people down south starting to flip out, yo, because all of that expensive stuff is trickling. My brother live in Virginia. It's starting to trickle down there.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. Yo, the cheapest spot is probably Martinsburg. I'm in Charlestown.
Okay.
It is. Oh my God, I'm lucky to get a 2-bedroom for $1,200.
Wow.
See, but you can't get nothing in Jersey for $1,200. A studio apartment starts at like 13, 14. That's a studio. So you
Yeah,
pay
that's crazy.
$1,200 for a 1 bedroom, man. Better stay there.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, but it's Plainfield, yo. It's a very, very interesting city, yo. It's a beautiful city, yo. But it has changed a lot since we were kids. A tremendous a lot, yo. But that's just generational change.
Yeah.
Decades of change. Everything is due to change. But if I could do PHS all over again, heck yeah. I'd do it all over again, yo, because just the friends, even our Caucasian and Orientals that went there and our Hispanics, it's just like I wouldn't change 1 second of their, you know what I mean? I wouldn't change 1 second of PHS, yo, but I would have taken advantage of everything that was being offered.
Yeah.
But too late, 50 years old now, creepy old dude, right?
We OGs now.
But the high school is
absolutely.
In the library right across the street. The park is literally down the street.
I haven't been to the library in years.
Yeah, you can walk through Plainfield from Terra Road to Rock Avenue on a nice day in about 2 hours. That's the whole city. That's the whole city of Plainfield. You walk down Front Street.
Yeah, I never thought it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And 7th Street.
Yeah, 7th too. And it's just, I love this little town, yo. It's just that there's certain things in town that, as a community activist, I just feel as though it needs a new, younger administration is the biggest thing. A younger administration between 40 and 50. Principals, mayors, board of education, city hall, because they need to be able to relate to these young people. My first mentor told me there is no such thing as a bad kid. She
Hmm.
said all kids have challenges, and you, as the adult, have to figure out what those challenges are. But there's no such thing as a bad kid.
Hmm. That's an interesting thought. But
Yeah.
hold that thought. We're gonna get back to Scott.
Okay.
So, Scott, what's your best childhood memory?
I got a few of those, but the one that stick out the most was that time we all went roller skating.
Uh-huh.
I ate all them M&Ms, grew up all over the place. That's the best one that stick out. Well, that was a funny night too.
You learned a lesson that
I-
day.
yeah, I don't eat M&Ms no more.
I bet you don't. I remember when you used to come next door and help me and Tia turn rope. Because I used to be like,
Yeah,
my cousin will turn for us. And I used to come and get you and you turn rope. We'd be outside. That's one of my
yeah.
memories. So what are your other fond
Third and
childhood?
Spooner.
What'd you say?
I was on Third and Spooner when y'all lived over
Yeah,
there.
Third and Spooner. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yes, it was.
Man, them was the days.
It was.
Absolutely, them was the days.
It was. It was. So what are your other good childhood memories that you have?
Going over nannies on
Yes.
the weekend.
Uh-huh.
And she used to make that them chicken and dumplings. Oh my
Yes.
god.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Mm, mm, mm.
Yes.
You know I miss nanny chicken and dumplings. That's why I asked you did you have a recipe for that because I wanted to make it.
Yeah, no, I don't. And I also miss Auntie's pineapple, upside down pineapple cake. Better than
Yeah.
Intamin's. Better than Intamin's. Oh my goodness.
Mm, mm,
Whew.
mm.
So
Yes, I
miss it.
miss those cooking days.
Yes. Yes. So Scott, what's the biggest, hardest lesson that you have learned?
The biggest, hardest lesson that I had to learn growing up basically was not to be a follower. It took me 13 and a half years behind them prison walls because I was a follower.
Mm.
Doing
Yeah.
shit doing stuff I ain't had no business doing, robbing and shit, playing with guns,
Mm.
led me behind bars.
Yeah. So
And definitely,
can you share your story about that? What ended up having you be behind bars? Can you tell your story? Because everybody's got a story. And I think people need to hear your story. So let them
yeah,
know.
well, absolutely. I hope everybody got the popcorn. 'Cause this is gonna be a good one.
Get your popcorn, folks. Get your popcorn.
Yeah, well, back when I was like 15, 16, running with a crowd, running with Sixth Street. That's where I'm from. Actually, from the West End. Grandma had that house on Fourth and Clinton.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm the original West End guy, but grew
Yeah.
up on Sixth Street, running with the wrong type of dudes. Landed me to do some bull stuff, robbery. Wound up getting caught because somebody told on me. Person I was with told on me,
Mm.
and that's what ended up me going down prison for 13 and a half years.
Yeah. So, what are your biggest fears?
What's my biggest fear?
Yes.
Going back.
Mm.
That ain't prison is not the place to be at all. They degrade you, dehumanize you, do everything like unhumanly. Yo, that shit is crazy behind them bars. The things that you see back there, wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy.
I hear you. So, what were the decisions and the bad choices that resulted in your incarceration that you had made?
What was the decisions that I made?
Yeah, the decisions that you made that resulted in your incarceration.
Oh, I decided to
Besides
listen to
staying
people
with the
that I
wrong
shouldn't have been
people,
listening to.
uh,
Yeah,
following the wrong crowd.
listening to them. Yeah, absolutely. But now it took me that long to realize the same people I've been listening to ain't was never there for me when I was down behind the walls. But that made me strong though.
Mm.
Made me very strong. That's why I'm out here. It's a whole new life and I'm doing it. Right now I'm trying to get this food truck off the ground.
Okay,
Cause cause I love to cook.
right. Jacob's like to cook.
And
Yep.
now look, it's different out. It's different out here. They get a different type of flavor out here because it out here is kind of bland. I took some breakfast. I made breakfast sandwiches. Took them things to work.
Uh,
They was like, "Oh my god!" They love my breakfast sandwiches.
wow. Hook it up, right? Hook it up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I hear that. Okay, Maurice, back to you, buddy. Maurice, what are some of your side businesses, if you have any, and how did you start them?
Um, Legally in the state of New Jersey, I own a consulting company called Entrepreneurs since 2004. Um, and it's basically consulting on entrepreneurship, advertising and marketing, networking, providing. When I first started out, I used to do a lot of vendor events. I did some fundraising events at the high schools for the different, clubs at the high school. But my biggest point was I held a lot of business networking dinners here in town.
Mhm.
Um, Between 2004 and maybe 2008, I think is when I stopped doing business networking dinners. Um, but I do consulting. Um, I remember when somebody came up to me one day, very successful person in the state of New Jersey. I think he was in real estate at the time. And he came up to me. He was like, "Come here." He's like, "Come here." He said, "You know what I'm gonna call you?" He said, "I'm gonna call you the resource man." I said, "Huh?" And this when I was young, I ain't know nothing, right? And he was like, "I'm gonna
Mhm.
call you the resource man." I was like, "Why?" He said, "Because tell me the truth." He said, "You practically know," and this is when I was young. This is when I was like in my 20s and 30s. He was
Mhm.
like, "You practically know at least one person in like every industry in the state, don't you?" I was like, "Yeah, kind of, sort of." I was like, "Yeah, I know a lot of people." You know what I mean? Because that's what networking dinners, that's what networking dinners do. They bring out any and everybody. So I was like, "Yeah, I know a lot of people." But he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna call you the resource man." And I'm like, "All right." But I've met in Plainfield Public Library with a lot of people, did consulting, small meetings. um, things like that. And I understand that no one wants to struggle, but the problem with the entire picture is the lack of information. People don't know certain things. You know
Say
what I'm
that again for the people in the background. Say it again for the people in the balcony, nosebleed section. Let them know.
saying? I said is that nobody wants to struggle. I said it's just that people don't know the basic, simple information for certain things. And I said, I remember my event at the high school for the robotics club. It was during a basketball game. Had about 25 vendors. And if you can picture the hallway by the ramp where the bathroom is,
Mm-hmm.
right? By the gym, that long hallway. I had
Yeah.
about 25 vendors there.
Wow.
And it was like, why are you charging $20 for tables? I was like, why? Like, what's wrong with that? They was like, do you know? And people would call me before the event, be like, all you want is $20? I was like, yeah, like, what's wrong with that? They was like, don't you know vendor tables start at a minimum of like $75? I was like, okay, but I'm only charging 20. So all of these vendors came out. And I said, but think about it like this. If I charge you 20 and you make back your 20, you break even. But I said, if I charge you 75 and you make nothing, the next time you get an invitation from me, you gonna come? They was like, all right, that kind of makes sense. This one vendor at the end of that event, I never forget her. She came up to me, she was like, I want to give you back your $20. I said, why? I was like, something happened or something? She was like, no, I want to give you back your 20. I was like, I don't want it. I was like, you paid for the event, whatever. She was like, okay, fine. But she was like, the reason why I want to give you back your 20, she said, because if I told you how much money I made today,
Hmm.
you would take it back. This
Wow.
lady had made between like $350 to $500, y'all. So me
Wow.
giving back that 20 was nothing to her. But I said, listen, those vendors paid me 20 and it made the event look better versus charging 75 and having 5 vendors show up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
my company was based off of networking and vendor events. But then I started the business networking thing and I met a lot of people, yo. I met a lot of business owners and organization directors in the state. And
Mm.
I was like, it's about information.
Yeah.
If people know, if you give people the information, then you can sleep at night. Because you
Right
can say,
on.
I did my part.
Absolutely.
I did my part. So yeah, that's it was my consulting company is based off of information, providing people with information.
Drop them gems. Drop them gems.
And that's basically it. Yeah.
Right on, man. Right on. All right, back to you, cuz. Back to you, man. Um, how did you overcome your past journey? And what was it like when you were behind bars? What was it like for you?
I can. I began to appreciate life more. You know, when you locked up, it's like you take it for granted, take a lot of shit for granted. Smelling fresh air, hearing birds, and seeing different stuff. Yeah, you learn to appreciate that more.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so in the comments, Latanya Davis said, good night, good evening, blessings and favor. She said, my favorite cake as well. Teresa Hazel Eyes is in the building. Show your love for Teresa. Me and Teresa go back 2022 or 2023. We go back and she says she's here and she made it. Latanya also says she knows that she's late. Have you ever thought about being a mentor for the youth today? Who do you mean, Latanya? Are you talking about Scott or Maurice? And she also said, true. So those were the comments. So shout out to Latanya Davis and Teresa Hazel Eyes who were watching. In addition to my mom, all the way from the VA. Okay, Scott, back to you. What are the biggest misconceptions about the prison system?
That is fun. Everybody seems to think it is fun. They glorify it, thinking that it's cool. It's not cool at all. Like it's not what it is. It's not what they see on TV. I'll tell you that.
Mm, yeah,
That's the biggest misconception. It's not fun. I don't know. If fun is having somebody tell you when to go to sleep, closing, locking the door behind you, and all that, if that's fun, I don't want that.
I know that's
I can
right.
have that.
You got that right. Absolutely. So the question that Latanya Davis said, have you ever thought about being a mentor for the youth of today? That was for you, Scott, and for you, Maurice. Have you guys ever thought about that? Being a
I
mentor?
thought about that at the beginning when I first came home, 2017. This is my 7th year.
Hmm.
I thought about that in the beginning, but things didn't just go quite the way that I wanted to. But the young people that I've come in contact with, I've been talking to them. I've been in their ear. They listen a little bit here and there. You know, I do my job. I inform you, and that's that.
Right. I hear you. What about you, Maurice?
Um, I started off, like I said, my community activism was in a Christian daycare center. It was everyone from infants all the way up to like teenagers. I worked at the YMCA in Plainfield on Watchung Avenue for 2.5 years, 7 through 9 and 10 through 12. So I have in total comfortably about 5 or 6 years working with young people. Um, Took all of the bumps, bruises, scrapes, gut punches, and everything that little people can dish out, but great character building. That's how you got to chalk it up. And I tell everybody, I wish I could hug all my teachers and say I'm sorry. For every day I came to class and acted the fool and made your life harder than what it was, because I understand that you are a human now that I'm 50, that you do have feelings and bills and responsibilities, and how you probably wanted to choke us all out every day, but didn't do it, you know? So, but I've worked with young people, and like I was talking to you before, Tanisha, I'm in the
Mhm.
process of relaunching my company, but I need help to build a platform where all ages from 14 up can come and get some information. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
it's working with the young people as an elder. See, my mother and father, they gone. My mother passed away last year, the day before Mother's Day.
Oh.
Right? So never thought about that day. So anybody who parents have passed away, I feel you,
Mhm.
right? So as an elder, I understand that if we have information, knowledge, and experience, younger people, getting them together and getting them, in arenas where they can learn some things and understand some things, they'll make us immortal. I love going to the store and out of nowhere somebody screaming, Mr. Maurice, Mr. Maurice. And I go, oh God, who could this be? And I turn around and it's always one of my younger people from City of Light or the YMCA. And now they're adults. They're, you know what I'm saying? They're in their 20s, teens and 20s, yo. And I turn around and the person that I first met now is a mature, responsible, know how to communicate type person. So along that whole journey, they have run into people that have changed them and helped them grow and mature. You know what I mean? But when I met them, they was little tyrants. They was kids. You know what I'm saying? So I do understand that we have to create an arena or a platform, as difficult as it might seem sometimes, that we have to leave them at least knowledge. You know what I'm saying? We have to leave them some type of wisdom. We have to leave them with understanding that, yeah, we all been there, done that. We still care. We not angels, but this is the stuff that we've learned along the way.
Right.
So that's what, like I said, I'm in the, I'm in the process of trying to relaunch everything. And, thanks to social media, it shouldn't be that difficult, but it's like building a pyramid,
Hmm. Yeah.
So if I can get some people that have some experiences and some knowledge that they can share, that young people especially can benefit from, then I'm cool with it.
I hear you. Because I feel that having a mentor is very important, especially to the youth who come from single parent homes. Having a mentor is very important, and we need them. We really do, because the youth are our future. So yeah, having a mentor, I feel, is extremely important.
Because if you look at our caretakers right now, don't they look kind of scary, y'all?
Yeah.
Right? You 70, 80 and old folks home, and they, you know what I'm saying? You
Yeah. Yeah.
it's scary visually, but see, here's the beauty of a young person. That soul in that body is only as intelligent and loving and encouraging as the entities that it runs into during its lifetime.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
And Scott, that food truck, I listened to what you were saying. About
Yeah.
2 months ago, I chat GBT what were like the top 5 businesses in the United States to start.
It's
Number
food
one
truck.
business was the food truck, brother.
Absolutely.
Right
The
on.
food truck.
Absolutely.
And it was like and it said if you taking the food and the flavors to the people. But that's a little,
Absolutely.
I do want everybody to know one of my accolades in the city of Plainfield for 3 years, from 2015 to 2018, I was the Plainfield NAACP Economic Development Chairman through the NAACP.
Right.
Yeah, through the
What's
NAACP.
up?
So I had that city position and state position. So I do know entrepreneurship backwards and forwards. I know all of the nicks and knacks and how to get funding. And a lot of people don't know the state you live in will do your business plan for you for free.
Wow.
Yeah, but that's a whole nother 2-hour conversation.
Okay. Well, back to the comments. Latanya Davis said exactly. Mary F. Jones is joining us, and she said, thank you for your service. Teresa Hazel Eyes said, that's great that you gave knowledge to the younger people. They truly need it in the world today. Good job, Maurice. And Mary F. Jones again said, well said. And Jermaine Dixon is in the building. He is Big Dude's cousin. And he says, salute y'all, with the strong arm emoji. All right, Scott, back to you. Um, where No, excuse me. Were you ever in solitary confinement? And if so, explain what that was like for you.
I kind of stayed in solitary confinement. ASEG is what they call it. And it's like you in a room by yourself. for a certain amount of time. I had like a 364 because I got caught with a cell phone.
Oh,
It was it was about around the time where I was on my way home too. Got caught with a cell phone.
wow.
Yeah, I did ASEG time in Northern State. The OG for anybody that's listening that's in and they know about GU, the old GU. That's where I did my ASEG time at,
Oh, wow.
and it was like I, I read a lot of books, so my sanity, I kept my sanity. But for anybody that just going in there and just don't do nothing, absolutely nothing, no reading, no nothing, like you'll lose your mind in there. You'll really lose your mind.
Mhm.
But I read a lot of books, kept my mind busy. So
Yeah,
my time was up. That was it.
yeah, I hear that. So, what was it like on that day when you were released back in 2017? What was that day like for you?
Like they just opened up the gates to heaven.
Mm,
I walked smooth out.
I know
It
that.
felt good. Like it really felt good. I
Yeah,
had to get down. If you if ask Courtney, I got down and prayed. Thank God for that day
I'm sure.
when they released me, and it's been on ever since. I've
I
been
know
on
that.
my journey. Had my little nicks and my little knacks through life since I've been home, but that's where struggle is, you know.
Absolutely.
And I'm
Abs-
still making it.
that's right. Say it louder again for the people in the balcony section.
Still making it.
That's right. So, what has been your biggest obstacle that you have overcome since being out?
Well, I'm just starting to experience. I had a little experience with the bias thing out here as far as like getting a job, but I overcame that because I got one. I work for this company called Dow. It's supposed to be a lamination company, but now we making shoulder pads for the NFL and backboards and shit for the NBA and all that. So I'm good in that department now, but that was my biggest thing, like the racial bias. Now I'm in a spot where it's like interracial couples everywhere, but it's still rednecks.
Okay, I hear you.
Mhm.
So I was thinking just now, this came up. When I did the interview with James Parrish way back, shout outs James Parrish, Third Eye Apparel. And he was talking about his enlightenment because he got into trouble in his teenage years. So I was just thinking, so Scott, when did you have your enlightenment?
My enlightenment was when I was about like I want to say about 18 months in, and it really hit me like, oh shit, I got because I lost trial first. I got 22 and a half. I got 22 years. I'm never coming home.
Mhm.
Then when I went back to court and I get that time back, got the 13. It was I've seen some light, so that's when I started transitioning. Still going through my little struggles, but transitioning. Once I got out, I started putting my plans in motion
Mhm.
and stuck to my script. All you got to do is have a plan and stick to the script. If you got a plan, you stick to the script. If you deviate, that's when you're going to start messing up. Just don't deviate from your plan.
Right on. Right on, cuz. Right on. Clap it up for Scott Jacob, my first cousin, folks. Yes. Clap it up for him. Yes. You better say that,
Tourist games.
cuz. Right on, man.
Tourist games.
Right on. Back to you, Maurice. Um, what would you change about your business journey if you could go back?
I wouldn't deviate from the simplicity of what I had over the 17 years. Well, I'm still currently in business, but when I first started off, I was a one-man show. So if I couldn't do it, then I didn't entrust other people to do certain things. All of the relationships that I built, all of the connections that I built because I made the appointment to go and sit and talk to people. I built the relationships. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And when you start to put your dream into other people's hands because they have their own life, things can fall short. Time schedules and things like that can change. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of them things that because I was young at the time, I was the new puppy running around with the big dogs, finding out who was who, what was going on, building my relationships and stuff like that. And I just said to one of my friends the other day, I said, everything that I wanted, I had. And I said, the reason why I walked away was because of a disappointment. And I said, that was the biggest foolish thing that I could have ever done because when that disappointment came about, I still had what I wanted. But I got brokenhearted and was just like, I'm done. And it was like, now, a couple of years later, it's like, for what? Because one entity disappointed you.
Mm-hmm.
And it really dawned on me like that was a rookie move. So one of the things that I could say that I would do when you go and ask for something and it's given to you, that's a block in your pyramid. And don't deviate from that block of support.
Right.
What person, what business owner in Plainfield could have said, I can go into the school district and host anything that I want at Plainfield High School on at any given time, as long as the date wasn't taken by the students, and pay for nothing
Mm-hmm.
because it was for the district. I paid this.
Wow.
Everything was waived. And it was just, I had the support of my hometown. And I just, one entity just let me down and I just got brokenhearted. Now I have to humble myself to swing back around, give my whole life story of everything I've done and pray that I get certain things back because the blueprint doesn't change. It's just the faces. You know what I mean? So it's a long story, but I wouldn't change the things that I could personally control, that I
Right.
could do on a day to day. I wouldn't change that. I wouldn't I wouldn't let down those who gave me what I asked for. It's a difference between wanting something and going after it and not getting it, but when you get it, You asked for it. So why would you, you know what I mean? Why would you deviate? So I wouldn't deviate. I wouldn't deviate from maybe 3 or 4 different major community partners that I had. Because if I wouldn't have deviated, I could have still had those entities regardless of the faces of the administration or whatever changed. I had the partnership. Rookie move. You know, rookie move. So I learned my lesson, yo. Like, you know, support is support. And if you're adamant about what you want, once you get that support, you ride the wave, but you ride the wave then with a smile because you got what you wanted.
Right on.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go
I can
back to the
relate to that.
comments. Plainfield, where y'all at? P-Field, where y'all at? Anyway, in the comments we have Teresa Hazel said, "That's great that you gave knowledge to the younger people. They truly need it in the world. Good job, Maurice." Mary F. Jones said, "Well said." And oh, I think I read that before. Okay, well, whatever's clever. And Teresa Hazel said, "Wow, that's a long time." So those were the comments. Shout out again to those that's watching. Don't forget to like, heart, and share, and share, and share, and share. And for those who are going to watch this on the replay, make sure you type in hashtag replay. Hashtag replay. Yes. So Maurice, got another question for you. Okay. What motivates you?
I like when people ask me questions. When somebody asks me something because they want to know something, right? It excites me, especially if I know the answer. You know what I'm saying? And people say, somebody told me a long time ago, stop giving away information for free. They was like, you tell people, you know what I'm saying? They was like, you give away stuff to information too freely. You should be charging people, you know, X, Y, and Z because that's consulting. And I said, well, yeah, because you know, I'm a spiritual person at the same time. I said, when somebody asks me something and I resolve a problem or an issue from them and they thank me, I said that's pay enough because it makes my whole journey worth it. You know what I mean? Like everything I've been through, if I could resolve a problem or issue for somebody, and people have called me out of the blue that I totally forgot about and thanked me for stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, I like being able to resolve a problem or help somebody like start something or you know what I mean? Whatever, like that's what I get a kick out of. I like being helpful, especially when it comes to knowledge, because everything that I learned, I never believed in that re-educate yourself thing. I re-educated myself. Everything from community activism to financial to you know, entrepreneur to job finding to everything. I learned the blueprint, and the blueprint is the same all through America. And that's one of my biggest accolades is that I've learned the blueprint, but I learned the blueprint in my hometown. But everything that I learned here, it's the same throughout the whole country. It's the same through the whole country. The blueprint doesn't change. It doesn't matter what state you live in. I could tell somebody something that is the same here in Jersey. It could be the same. It'll be the same thing in California. So I learned the blueprint. So that's the one thing I'm proud of is that I learned the blueprint of certain major entities, the financial industry, the job industry, the entrepreneur industry, the educational component of society. I learned the major components. So I get a kick out of talking to people. As you know, I talked to you for 4 hours, 5 hours on the phone, right?
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
that's my biggest accolade is just providing, regurgitating the information that I learned in 17 years is the best way to put it.
Okay. I hear that. All right. Back to you, Scott. Same question. What motivates you?
What motivates me?
Mm-hmm.
Life, because it's short.
Yes, it is. Life is very short. Yeah. You are absolutely
I'm
correct.
motivated to do any and everything
I
that
hear
I
you.
never did before.
Hmm. Yeah. I hear you. So back to the comments, we have Dami Afuye, and he says, hello, everyone. Dami does book trailers. He's a digital creator, and Dami will be back on next week live with Mz.KIR. The first time Dami was on with Writer's Block member Taria Busby. She also does pillows and umbrellas and all of that good stuff. I forgot what her brand is called. I'm sorry, Taria, but she was on a show that I did a while back, and so was Dami. So if anybody out there needs a book trailer or help promoting their book, go to Dami. And Michael Connor is also in the building, aka Philly's finest. He was on last week with Poessence, a spoken word. So last week I had 2 spoken word artists. So Michael Connor was on, and he's showing love tonight. So he said, "What's going on, Dami?" So shout outs to Dami and Michael Connor. They're in the building tonight. And Dami's going to be on next week with spoken word artists. Well, I don't want to say tune in to be announced. Tune in to see the spoken word artist that Dami will be a guest with as well. All right. Maurice, back to you. What mindset helped make your entrepreneurial endeavors successful?
Could you repeat that?
Sure. I said, what mindset helped to make your entrepreneurial endeavors successful?
Research and development.
Okay.
People, if you have a question, in any success, you have to first ask the question. If you want to know anything, you first have to be able to ask the question or ask for help.
Yeah.
Right?
Uh-huh.
Some people can't even bring themselves to ask the question. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So the mindset is entrepreneurship. Don't let money be your motivating factor. Right? Because if it doesn't excite you, right? If whatever your ideal is or your endeavor is, if it doesn't excite you, then the money is just, it's a reward. But if something excites you, you'll do whatever it takes to stay excited.
Right.
So make sure that whatever your endeavor is, some days you'll get support, some days you won't. Some weeks you'll get support, some weeks you won't. But if it's something that excites you, you're not going to give up.
Right.
Because the graveyard is full of shoulda, coulda, wouldas.
Sure is.
And some people never ask the question to get started.
Mm-hmm.
But
That's
here in America, America loves entrepreneurs, yo. It's only because of tax generation. That's it. Other than that, if you generating the country some more tax money, they cool with you. But
Mm.
asking that question, yo, and I asked a lot of questions in 17 years, yo. I did. That's how I know what I know. Cause I asked, yo. And I asked the people who were supposed to know. There's a difference between asking somebody who you think know versus asking the people who should know.
All right. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Say it loud. Say it loud. Say it proud.
Oh,
Yeah.
I put my email address in the private chat. I don't know how that's gonna work out, but I put my email in the private chat. If
Oh,
anybody needs to reach out to me, I put it in the private chat.
okay. Did you hear that, folks? It's in the private chat. Anybody needs to get in touch with Maurice, reach out to him. Email in the private chat.
Yeah, my email's in the private chat. Say that again. Don't let the money be the reason to love to keep pushing through no matter what.
And back to the comments. Michael Connor said asking questions is totally necessary. A closed mouth don't get fed. You better say that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And Latanya Davis said, say that again. Don't let the money be your reason. The love of what you love, you keep pushing through no matter what. Closed mouths don't get fed. Makes me think of the Players Club. Make the money, but don't let the money make you. Yes. With that being said, Maurice, what do you want the takeaway to be from tonight's show? What words of wisdom you want to give the folks out there? What more gems? Because I know you got a lot of gems.
Yeah,
But
the first thing I tell people when I consult with them or talk to them, I say go into your room, turn off the TV, the radio, turn down your cell phone, and sit in peace and quiet and figure out what you want, what you really want. But here's my motto: the city that you live in or the town that you live in right now, if the town you live in doesn't know what you do, then nobody else needs to know what you do.
that's an interesting take.
Right? If you walk out your door, somebody should know what you do.
Yeah.
If the
Well, somebody
people,
definitely gonna know what you're doing.
huh? No, no, no,
Guys everywhere.
no,
Everybody gonna know what
no,
you're
no, no,
doing.
no. What I mean by that is if you're starting a entrepreneurial endeavor, start with the people that's in your city. Don't worry about everybody else. And whatever you are doing, make sure, and I tell people this, and it's a hard pill to swallow, whatever your business endeavor is as an adult, figure out how to infuse a young person into it. Figure out how to be able to become a mentor to a young person,
Mhm.
right? Because young people,
Absolutely.
the one thing I learned, a young person, I don't care if you consider them well behaved or bad or whatever, right? If you cater to what a young person wants or any adult or anybody, if you're catering to their interests, they'll give you all of their time and energy if it's something that they're interested in.
Mhm.
Video games.
True, true, very true, true, true. Back to you, Scott. Um, what do you want the takeaway to be from tonight? Drop them gems, drop that wisdom.
Everybody should pray more.
Yes. Say that again, cuz for the people in the balcony and nosebleed section. Say it again. Say it loud, say it
Everybody,
proud.
everybody need to pray more. Pray hard.
Yes. Yes. I couldn't have said that better myself, cuz couldn't have said that better myself. back to the comments. Latanya Davis said, "That's the truth. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. I am known as Trinity's mom. LOL." Shout outs to Lil Trin. And Michael Connor said something about Lorraine Hansberry, the playwright of Raisin in the Sun. Teresa Hazelard said, "Hallelujah." I know that's right, Teresa. And Latanya Davis said, "Amen." And Michael Connor, aka North Philly's finest, said amen. And Dami Afuye said amen as well. Scott Jacob, if people want to reach out to you, if you want to do a motivational guest appearance, where could people find you and say, "Hey, Mr. Jacob, we need you to speak at XYZ"? How could they get in touch with you?
Through my email, sdj5178@gmail.com.
Did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? Could you repeat that again for them one more time? One more again?
sdj5178@gmail.com.
All right, Facebook. All right. Y'all heard it. He said it twice. Okay. Um, Maurice, how can people get in touch with you in case they didn't see your email in the chat?
I'm on Facebook. I'm very accessible on Facebook. So my profile picture, I think it's my picture. It might not be, but my name is the same on Facebook. So I'm very accessible on Facebook. But my email is the global community consultant at gmail.com.
All right. One more question for you, cuz. What is the most important skill that you believe is to have in life?
Communication,
Absolutely.
definitely.
Yes. Yes.
Communication is a definite good skill to have because if you can't communicate, it's going to be total chaos.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Scott, who do you want to give a shout out to? Any shout outs?
Shout out to you, cuz.
Thank you,
I
cuz.
see you got everything going good.
Thank you,
Shout out to
cuz.
the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you.
Shout out to Maurice.
Shout out to Maurice. Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Anybody else you want to give a shout out to?
Shout out to the family.
Shout out to the
And that's about
family.
it.
Right, right. Anybody else?
Shout out to my baby girl.
Okay.
And that's it.
And that's it. Okay. Dami said, do you have a Facebook page? You talking about Scott or Maurice? Because Maurice, he just gave his page. So are you talking about Scott, Dami? And Michael Connor, aka North Philly Finest, said, "You definitely have to be able to communicate well. Inadequate language can be a problem." Yes, it can, Michael Connor, aka North Philly's Finest. Poets unite. Poets unite, because you know us poets, you know we sensitive about our swit, SWIT. We are sensitive about our swit, but we keeps it real with the pen and the paper. Oh yes, oh yes. All right, folks out there in Facebook land, YouTube land, Instagram land, wherever land you are watching, this brings a close to another Live with Mz.KIR. I want to thank everybody who, again, took the time out on this Friday night to come and show love. Shout outs to North Philly's Finest, Dami Afayu, Maurice Huff, cousin Scott Jacob. Yes. Got to thank my guests because there would be no podcast if I didn't have any guests. So shout outs to you. Shout outs to my previous guest, Karaja Yashar, T Noodle, the young poet with, young retired poet with an old soul. Shout outs to James Parrish and Jonathan Ware because, again, that was the fan favorite because that one made 1K. Got to bring James back on. Slim Jim. Jimmy. Also shout outs again to spoken word artist, Poessence of Spoken Word, North Philly's finest, Taria, Busby, and Dami Afuye. And let's see who else was on. And shout out to my guest next week. Oh yeah, James Ellerby. How did I forget him? Spoken word artist James Ellerby and Orlando Chandler.
Oh, you got Orlando coming back? I seen a piece of that one.
Yeah, Orlando's coming back. Him and James Ellerby, they coming back. I don't know when, but they coming back. But shout outs to them. And shout outs to my future guests, Delicia Roberts. Delicia, where you at, girl? Shout outs to a future guest, Genevieve Powell, self-published author of 8 self-published books of poetry. That's my peeps. We go back. And future guest, Sadette Knox. And The Bread is Rising Poetry Collective, they're going to be on. Those are my peeps from New York, the Brother Network too. The Writer's Block Poetry Collective, long live the Writer's Block. Writer's Block going to return very soon to open mic near you. And see who else I'm going to give a shout out to. Shout out to my mom who been watching, and shout out to Teresa Hazel Eyes, and to all my people. Shout out. You get a shout out. You get a shout out. You, and you. This is Tanisha Jacob. No S at the end. Jacob. Okay. Not the jeweler, but I drop poetic gems. Thank you for tuning in tonight to Live with Mz.KIR. Next week, we have special guests. And like I said, Dami Afuye will be back. He'll be returning along with another special guest, a spoken word artist to be announced. The spoken word artist. So you got to tune in to see who that is going to be. And yeah, that's it, folks. So with that being said, love, peace, hair grease, edges matter, soul, and
she said edges matter.
And remember, be breezy. Live in your breeziness. Live in your breeziness, folks. Everybody be breezy. Have a breezy weekend. Peace.
All right. Thank you.